This lecture is on the lens of the eye. So the lens has a shape that is described as biconvex. That means it has a convex surface on one side and a convex surface on the other side. That's the shape of our eye's lens. The lens is transparent. It is flexible. It actually has a sort of a rubbery feel to it. It focuses the light in your eye, and it does this by changing shape. It is enclosed in a clear membrane. So like so many other things in the body, there is a membrane surrounding it. It is held in place, as you recall, by the suspensory ligament. And the lens, like the cornea, is avascular. Now, what does that mean, avascular? Vascular, of course, refers to blood vessels. And A basically means without. So avascular tissue does not have blood vessels, and the lens does not have blood vessels. So the structure of the lens then. The lens is made of fibers, believe it or not. It is actually a fibrous substance. And the fibers then actually, I'm going to put this up here. So it is made out of fibers. And the lens fibers then are made of, originally, so the way that it all starts out, the lens fibers are made of cuboidal epithelium cells. So cuboidal epithelium cells. You remember epithelium, it's one of your 4 major tissue types. Epithelium is covering and lining, but it does other things as well. Like, for instance, in this case being the origin of the lens of your eye, you remember that there is squamous epithelium, there is cuboidal epithelium, and there is columnar epithelium. So in this case, we are talking about cuboidal epithelium cells that change. So they differentiate into a nucleate fibers. Again, take a look at the word. Nucleate means having a nucleus. A means without. So here we have things that used to be cuboidal epithelium cells that wind up making a bunch of fibers, and then essentially the cell part of the cell, the nucleus and so on, goes away so that you are left with these fibers. So your lens fibers then are packed closely together and they form layers like an onion. So if you have a lens, if you were to actually look at an actual eye lens, and if you get to dissect an eye at some point, you may get to see this, but you have this kind of roundish, somewhat rubbery thing like this. But the point is, it is actually made out of layers like this. You can peel the layers off sometimes. So as I said, these lens fibers form layers rather like an onion. And the fibers contain proteins of a particular kind then. So these proteins are called crystallins. So when they refer to the eye's crystalline lens, that's what they mean. They mean then the lens being made out of these fibers called crystallins. So briefly, a cataract then. This is a problem that some people have with their vision. And a cataract then is just a clouding on the lens so that the lens can't be seen through as easily. That's what it means when we say that somebody has cataract. It means their lenses have become cloudy, and you can see how that would make it hard to see. Now, fortunately, this is actually something we deal with pretty well because the lens can be surgically removed. And it used to be that we would simply remove the lens and that would be that, and people could no longer focus their eyes, but they could use bifocals for distance vision and reading, and they got along okay. These days, we do even better because a replacement lens can be put in place. So that's how we deal with cataract now. But I was talking about focusing, so we're going to get back to that now. So focus, then. The way that the eye lens focuses, then, is by changing shape. Here's how that works. If you have a biconvex lens as light goes in, so here we have light. As light goes in, it gets bent, like so. If you just had a flat piece of glass, like you have in your window, if it's really truly flat, that light will just go through straight. But with a biconvex lens, it goes through and gets bent a little bit. And the extent to which the lens is rounded is the extent to which the light rays get bent, and that will change the focus. So you see here a flat one, a flat window, basically the light will go right through. If you have a lens that is just barely biconvex, very nearly flat like this, then the light will be bent and you wind up with the focal point fairly far away. On the other hand, if you have a more round lens, the light coming into this will be much more severely bent. So the place where that light will wind up coming together and focusing will be much nearer. And that then is how we focus our eyes, one way or another. And that is it. I'll move this way so you can see it. That is it for this lecture.